In the spotlight tonight is Hadrian Jeffs from Norfolk, a freelance writer. His specialist subject is the African missionary Bishop William Colenso. Katherine Slater from London, a housewife, and her subject is the Anne of Green Gables novels. Edward Towne from Kent, a teacher. His subject, European birds. And Anne Kelly from Bedfordshire, a researcher, and her subject, the work of Galton and Simpson. Hello, I'm John Humphreys, and welcome to television's most difficult quiz. In fact, the only simple thing on this show are the rules. We have two sets of questions, each lasting for 2 minutes, the first on specialist subjects and the second on general knowledge. And all we want to do is find out how much our contenders know and whether they can remember it under the pressure of the clock. One of them may go through to the final with a chance of a prize that money cannot buy, the title of Mastermind champion. So let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Hadrian Jeffs.
Your occupation?
Freelance writer.
And your chosen subject?
The African missionary Bishop William Colenso.
William Colenso in 2 minutes, starting now. In which town was John William Colenso born on the 24th of January, 1814?
St Austell.
Correct. Who ran the school in Dartmouth where Colenso took up an appointment as an assistant in 1831?
Mr Glubb.
Yes. Of which Cambridge College was he elected a fellow in 1837, having gone up there as a student in 1832?
St John's.
Correct. What was the title of the multi-volume book, the first part of which was published near the end of 1862, in which Colenso expressed doubts on the historical accuracy of the Bible?
The Pentateuch and the Book of Joshua critically examined.
Yes. What name meaning father of the people was given to him by the Zulus?
Sabantu.
Correct. What was the name of the chief of the Hlubi, whose trial in 1874 and subsequent banishment from Natal was vigorously opposed by Colenso?
Langarbalele.
Yes. What was the name of the Bishop of Cape Town who had Colenso tried for heresy in 1863 and later excommunicated him?
Robert Gray.
Correct. Which poet was a particular favourite of the Colenso family, having apparently once expressed his support by saying, "Though all the world should shriek out against you, I would receive you with open arms"?
Tennyson.
Yes. Which Anglican clergyman conducted the service in St George's Church, Bloomsbury, at which Colenso married Sarah Frances Bunyan in January 1846?
F.D. Morris.
Yes. With which secretary to the Aborigines Protection Society in London did Colenso have frequent correspondence on Zulu affairs?
Chesson.
Yes. Meaning place or home of light, what was the name of the chief mission station of the diocese that he established at Bishopstowe shortly after arriving in Natal?
Ekukanyeni.
Yes. Which Zulu convert to Christianity is credited by some as having inspired Colenso's Old Testament criticism by asking him whether he believed in the story of Noah's Ark?
William Ngidi.
Yes. Who represented Colenso when his trial began in Cape Town Cathedral in November 1863?
W.H. Bleak.
Yes. What was the name of the Dean of Westminster whose invitation to preach at Westminster Abbey during his visit to England in 1874 Colenso declined?
Dean Stanley.
Yes. Which friend of the Colenso family was killed at the Battle of Isandlwana, at which he'd been one of the leaders of the British forces?
Anthony Durnford.
Correct. In the 1830s, I've started, so I'll finish, he was appointed as a tutor of which subject at Harrow School?
Mathematics.
Mathematics is correct. So was every other answer. No passes, all correct, 16 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Katherine Slater.
Your occupation?
Housewife.
And your chosen subject?
Anne of Green Gables novels.
Anne of Green Gables, 2 minutes, starting now. Which Canadian province provides the principal setting for Ellen Montgomery's Anne novels?
Prince Edward Island.
Yes. In Anne of Green Gables, what does Anne put into the cake instead of vanilla when Mr. and Mrs. Allen come to tea with her and Marilla?
Liniment.
Yes. How does Susan Baker refer to Anne, who's pregnant with her first child, when Susan first comes to Glen St Mary as a maid of all work?
Mrs. Doctor.
Correct. Where is Anne's son Jem eventually found asleep after his disappearance sparks a major search in Anne of Ingleside?
In a window seat behind a door.
Yes. In Anne of Windy Willows, in what substance does Anne Chatty bathe her face nightly in order to preserve her complexion?
Buttermilk.
Yes. What is the full name of the discussion group known as Avis, which Anne helps found in Anne of Avonlea, but which withers away after she leaves?
The Avonlea Village Improvement Society.
Yes. In Anne of Green Gables, what nickname does Gilbert Blythe call Anne in class, provoking her to lose her temper and break her slate on his head?
Carrots.
Yes. In Anne's House of Dreams, it's revealed that Leslie's husband, Dick Moore, had died of which disease while in Cuba?
Yellow fever.
Correct. Which of Anne's sons is killed in action when Canadian troops captured Courcelette during the Great War?
Walter.
Correct. In Anne of Windy Willows, what's the name of Captain Abraham's ship whose figurehead stands in the Pringles orchard at Maplehurst?
The Go and Ask Her.
Yes. In whose garden does Gilbert finally propose marriage to Anne at the end of Anne of the Island?
Hester Gray.
Correct. In Anne of Ingleside, what name have Diana and Fred decided to give to their home inspired by a tree growing there?
Pass.
Which of Anne's former classmates dies of consumption in Anne of the Island?
Ruby Gillis.
Correct. In Anne of Avonlea, what does Davy Keith knock down the stairs, breaking Miss Barry's treasured platter, which Anne has borrowed for a party?
A conch shell.
Yes. In Anne of Green Gables, which of her classmates dares Anne to walk the ridgepole of the Barry's kitchen roof?
Josie Pye.
Correct. In Anne of Windy Willows, what nickname do the other Summerside residents give to the Pringle family?
The Royal Family.
Yes. When she lived with Mrs. Thomas before her arrival at Green Gables, what name did Anne give to her reflection in the glass bookcase? Take a stab at it. You don't need to lose.
Katie Morris.
Yes, it was always worth a try. Katie Morris it was. The one pass that you had in Anne of Ingleside, Lone Willow Farm was the name they decided to give to their home. One pass, Katherine Slater, also 16 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Edward Towne.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
And your chosen subject?
European birds.
European birds in 2 minutes, starting now. On which upland area was the great bustard reintroduced into Britain during the summer of 2004?
The Wiltshire Downs.
Correct. The common name of which crested salmon pink bird with black and white wings and tail is imitative of its call?
Could you repeat the question, please?
The common name of which crested salmon pink bird with black and white wings and tails is imitative of its call?
Lapwing.
The hoopoe. Which rare vulture obtains bone marrow by dropping bones onto rock surfaces so that they shatter?
Lammergeier.
Yes, the German name Rackelhahn is given to the hybrid of the capercaillie and which closely related bird?
The hazel hen.
The black grouse. What colour are the legs of the adult little egret that contrast with its bright yellow feet?
Black.
Correct. The Western European nesting population of which birds belong to the subspecies Larus argentatus argenteus, as opposed to those nesting in Scandinavia, which belong to the subspecies Argentatus?
Herring gull.
Correct. Which plover, a former breeder and now a rare annual migrant to southern Britain, can be distinguished from the ring plover by its black legs?
Kentish plover.
Correct. On which Hebridean island was the sea eagle reintroduced to Scotland in 1975?
Rum.
Yes. Which rodents, famed for their mass migrations, are a particular favourite food of the snowy owl?
Lemmings.
Yes. Which of the Hirundinidae is easily recognisable by its pure white rump and white underparts, contrasting with its otherwise black upper parts?
House martin.
Correct. Which stork's large stick nests built on platforms, typically placed on house roofs or telegraph poles, are a relatively common sight in parts of Spain and Eastern Europe?
White stork.
Correct. What is the common name for Europe's smallest swan, which breeds in northern Russia and migrates in autumn to wintering areas in Western Europe?
Buick swan.
Yes. Which is the largest of the common European thrushes, which has a white underwing that's visible in flight?
Fieldfare.
The missel thrush. Which Mediterranean island has its own unique species of nuthatch known as Sitta whiteheadi?
Corsica.
Yes. Which feature of the redstart gives the bird its name?
The red patch above the tail.
Yes.
On the tail.
The barnacle geese that winter... I've started, so I shall finish. The barnacle geese that winter on the Solway Firth breed on which island in the Arctic?
Greenland.
Svalbard. Edward Towne, no passes. You have 12 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Anne Kelly.
Your occupation?
Researcher.
And your chosen subject?
The work of Galton and Simpson.
Galton and Simpson in 2 minutes. In Hancock's Half Hour, what was the name of Hancock's secretary who first appeared in Series 4 of the radio show and was played by Hattie Jacques?
Miss Pugh.
Yes. Under what title did Steptoe and Son first appear in a BBC comedy playhouse in January 1962?
The Offer.
Yes. What is the full name of the defendant who's being tried at the beginning of the Hancock episode 12 Angry Men?
Pass.
Who played the mayor, Barthélemy Pichou, in Galton and Simpson's 1972 television adaptation of Gabriel Chevalier's novel Clochemel?
Pass.
In the Hancock episode The Missing Page, what is the title of the murder mystery novel which ends abruptly just before the villain is unmasked?
Pass.
In Steptoe and Son, which actor played a Labour Party agent in My Old Man's a Tory, a detective in Robbery with Violence, and a car salesman in The Colour Problem?
Dudley Foster.
Correct. Under what name was the Hancock film The Rebel released in the USA?
The Misfit.
Call Me Genius. On which BBC radio show did Galton and Simpson make their professional writing debut in 1951, scripting gags for Derek Roy?
Happy Go Lucky.
Correct. In Hancock's school, on what does Bill Kerr write his 100 lines, much to Hancock's annoyance?
Pass.
In the Steptoe and Son episode The Three Feathers, Harold swindled over what piece of supposedly Regency furniture?
A commode.
Yes. Paul Merton and Gwyneth Strong appeared in the 1996 remake of which comedy about a couple's effort to move house, hitting a snag when the wife decides she doesn't want to leave her old home?
Pass.
In The Bedsitter, Hancock uses a shaving soap moustache to impersonate which politician whose name was also on his passport in the radio episode The Emigrant?
Aloysius.
Harold Macmillan. In the episode The Lodger, Harold Steptoe tells Albert that he's working in which occupation after he's left home?
Scrap metal.
Advertising. Who composed the theme music for Hancock's Half Hour?
Grainer.
Now, Wally Stott. Who played the part of Harold when the pilot episode of Steptoe and Son was remade and broadcast on Radio 4 in January 1999?
John Thompson.
Correct. In Hancock's The Blood Donor, what is the name of the Scottish doctor played by Patrick Cargill?
McMurdoch.
It is Dr. McTaggart. You have 5 passes. Don't dilly-dally on the way was that comedy about moving house and all the rest of it. Bill Kerr wrote his 100 lines on the wallpaper. Lady Don't Fall Backwards was the title of the murder mystery novel. Cyril Cusack played Pichou, and John Harrison Peabody was the full name of the defendant in 12 Angry Men. Those 5 passes, and Kelly, 6 points.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the first round. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 6 points is Anne Kelly. 3rd place with 12 points, Edward Towne. Joint 1st place with 16 points are Hadrian Jeffs and Katherine Slater. So, round 2 now, the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes will be taken into account. So let's get on with it, and let me ask Anne Kelly to join us again, please. And a fan of the great Galton and Simpson.
Absolutely.
Probably the best
Yes, the best.
comedy writing pair in the world, yeah? Hancock's Half Hour, possibly the greatest.
Yes. They did various other things. They did a lot of work with Frankie Howard, but the main thing everyone remembers them for is Hancock and Steptoe.
Were they, do you think, the people who really invented the half-hour comedy?
Yes, they were. Before that, comedy shows, they were usually half-hour in length, but they were normally sketches.
A series of gags, really, weren't they?
That's right, a series of sketches. And then they had the idea with Hancock to do one half-hour sketch as an experiment, really, which was, you know, took off. And so that's what started the half-hour situation comedy. And, of course, then eventually transferred to television.
Right, 6 points. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes. Which biblical character, the patron saint of penitent sinners and reformed prostitutes, has her feast day on the 22nd of July?
Pass.
What natural disaster helped sway Robert Peel to repeal the Corn Laws in 1846?
The potato famine.
Yes. Which financier and statesman's grave is situated at World's View in the Matobo Hills National Park in Zimbabwe?
Schweitzer.
Is a slang term for a hand grenade.
Pineapple.
Yes. Which classic film opens with a shot of a body of a young man floating face down in a swimming pool, his ghostly voice recounting the events leading up to his death?
Sunset Boulevard.
Correct. What was the surname of the artist known as Raphael?
Pass.
What is the principal town on the Hebridean island of Skye?
Pass.
Which expression for noble descent is a translation of the Spanish sangre azul and is thought to have arisen from the visible veins of their fair-skinned aristocracy?
Bourbons.
Blue blood. At which Cambridge College was Prince Edward an undergraduate from 1983 to 86?
Jesus.
Yes. Which island is connected to Brooklyn by the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, completed in 1964?
Manhattan.
Staten Island. What in property adverts do the initials OSP stand for?
Original sale price.
Off-street parking. Which poet's first publication, The Battle of Marathon, was privately printed by her father in 1820 when she was aged 14?
Charlotte Bronte.
Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Which common English surname is the equivalent of the French Lefebvre?
Pass.
Which television personality was a lecturer in the Department of Botany at the University of Durham from 1960 to 1982?
David Bellamy.
Correct. The official residence of the holder of which office is the Admiral's House, Massachusetts Avenue, Washington, D.C.?
The Secretary of State.
No, the American Vice President. You had 5 passes. Oddly enough, Smith is the equivalent of Lefebvre. Who'd have guessed it? Portree is the principal town on Skye. Sanzio was Raphael's surname. Petrology is the study of rocks. And the biblical character, patron saint, Mary Magdalene. 5 passes, and Kelly, 11 points.
Thank you.
And now Edward Towne, please. You chose a very big subject indeed, European birds.
Yes, as
There's
it
an
turned
awful
out.
lot of them.
Yes.
Do we know how many? Well, a silly question.
I should
perhaps,
think about 500.
500 species?
Yes.
And how many of them come here, to this country?
About half that number.
Now, you are not a twitcher.
No, I'm not. I understand why people do it, which is...
Maybe you better just tell us what they do. I mean,
well, an inexorable search for rare birds, often involving very long journeys, networks of people, particularly on the internet, taking days off from work if a rare bird appears. It appears to me rather obsessive and not really very productive.
So how would you describe yourself? An ornithologist?
No, I think you'd need more scientific acumen than I've got to call yourself that. A bird watcher will do fine.
Right, well, you have 12 points with your knowledge of birds, so let's see how you do with your general knowledge. What is the name of the loop of leather or plastic through which a scout's neckerchief is threaded?
Pass.
Which future American president was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for his service as an American Navy pilot during World War II?
Kennedy.
No, George Bush Sr. Which building in the Vatican, constructed between 1475 and 1481, is named after Pope Sixtus IV, in whose reign it was built?
Sistine Chapel.
Correct. Which former deputy leader of the Labour Party was MP for Birmingham Sparkbrook from 1964 until he resigned at the 97 general election?
Hattersley.
Yes, the original idea for which widespread product identification system was first suggested in 1932 by Wallace Flint, a student at Harvard Business School?
Barcode.
Correct. Which word for the promised deliverer of the Jewish nation or for the saviour of any cause comes from the Hebrew for anointed?
Messiah.
Yes, in Greek mythology, who was the mother of the twins Heracles and Iphicles?
Pass.
Which writing system used by the Germanic peoples of Northern Europe is also known as futark, from the sound of the initial 6 letters?
Pass.
Which small oriental skiff has a name derived from the Chinese for 3 and board?
Junk.
Sampan. What on a cat are its vibrissae?
Its toes.
Whiskers. Whose novel Birds Without Wings, published in 2004, deals with love and war in Turkey during the early 20th century?
Pass.
Which province in western Argentina produces most of the country's grapes grown for wine?
Mendoza.
Yes. With which territory did Oklahoma Territory merge when Oklahoma gained statehood in 1907?
Kansas.
Indian Territory. Who was nominated for a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his role as Alfred P. Doolittle in the film My Fair Lady?
Rex Harrison.
Stanley Holloway. Which Mozart opera sometimes has the English title All Women Are the Same?
Così fan tutte.
Correct. In 1876, what title did Disraeli persuade Parliament to confer on Queen Victoria?
Empress of India.
Yes. Which navigator was killed in a fight with natives on Mactan Island in the Philippines in April 1521?
Magellan.
Correct. The process of galvanizing involves coating iron or steel with a layer of which metal?
Pass.
Which all-American action hero, I'll finish the question, has been played on screen by Alec Baldwin, Harrison Ford, and most recently, Ben Affleck?
Pass.
I'll give it to you then. Jack Ryan. Your other passes, it's zinc you use to galvanise. Louis de Bernier wrote Birds Without Wings. The runic alphabet was the one that I was looking for. In Greek mythology, the mother was Alcmena, and it is a woggle that they thread that neckerchief through if you're in the Scouts. 6 passes. Edward Towne, you have 20 points. And now Hadrian Jeffs, please. And your great-grandfather smuggled prunes for the Imperial German Navy during the war.
First World War. Yes.
First World War. But they were not prunes to be eaten.
No. He was approached by a firm of allegedly Swedish brokers who asked him to buy all the prunes at Royston Market, Royston in Hertfordshire, which for some obscure reason was Britain's leading prune trading centre at this time. He would then take them to a remote fishing village on the northern Irish coast, where he was met by a very smartly dressed gentleman who professed to be Swedish. It transpired they were being shipped to Germany. This was towards the end of the First World War, when the Germans were switching over to a strategy of U-boats. But when they needed new uniforms for the expanding U-boat arm, because a uniform didn't survive more than one cruise in a U-boat because the conditions in a U-boat were so foul, they were using this to dye the uniforms, and it was the prune juice that kept the Germans going for a whole year in the war.
As it were.
Yes.
Right, you have 16 points already. 2 minutes starting now. Beale Street and Elvis Presley Boulevard are thoroughfares in which American city?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes. Which artist who was born in Egham in 1926, who only took up painting in middle age, is particularly renowned for her saucy seaside postcard style?
Beryl Cook.
Yes, the unofficial 1906 Olympic Games, the only ones to have fallen outside the 4-year cycle, are generally known by what name?
Pass.
In which 1976 gangster film did Jodie Foster sing My Name is Tallulah?
Bugsy Malone.
Yes, Air, Dragonera and Pinto are among the 7 smaller islands making up which archipelago in the Mediterranean?
Balearic Islands?
Yes, which metallic element has the symbol W standing for wolfram, which was an old name for it?
Tungsten.
Yes, a glass-fronted bookcase stamped TS is the only piece certain to have been manufactured by which 18th century cabinet maker?
Sheraton.
Yes, which English-born ballerina married the Panamanian diplomat Roberto Arias in 1955?
Margot Fontaine.
Yes, in 1945, the water supply of Grand Rapids, Michigan was the first in the world to have which chemical substance added?
Fluoride.
Yes, which capital was briefly renamed Puerto Argentino in 1982?
Port Stanley.
Yes, Sinead is the Irish equivalent of which English girl's name?
Sarah.
Janet. Which composer's 1931 work Nursery Suite was dedicated to Their Royal Highnesses the Duchess of York and the Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret Rose?
Elgar?
Yes. The 4 Beverley children orphaned during the English Civil War are the heroes of which novel first published in 1847?
Water Babies.
The Children of the New Forest. Which cult American sitcom originally centred on 2 Jefferson High School students, Richie Cunningham and Warren Potsy Weber?
Happy Days.
Yes, in 1998, Cristina Sanchez became the first woman in Spain to have fought on foot in which male-dominated occupation?
Boxing.
Bullfighting. Which word of Old French origin is used for the nest of a bird of prey, especially an eagle?
Eerie.
Yes. What unpopular device is nicknamed the Denver boot?
A clamp for clamping cars.
Yes, the wheel clamp. Which major river rising after itself finish in the Guyana Highlands and flowing for most of its length through Venezuela enters the Atlantic opposite Trinidad?
The Parana.
The Orinoco. You had 1 pass. Those games, the Olympic Games that weren't really Olympic Games, were called the intercalated games. 1 pass, but 29 points. And finally, Katherine Slater, please. Well, you do know a lot about Anne of Green Gables. It's the Canadians who make such a fuss of the books because she was Canadian.
Yes, I think she's the most well-known Canadian author. And I think she wasn't, at the time, regarded as a great author. She was regarded just as a children's book writer. And then about the 1920s, the Canadians suddenly took her seriously. And now they make the most of her as a tourist person and also somebody who's written very good books.
And what changed? I mean, why did the perception of her change?
I don't know. I presume it was because the books were seen to have some literary merit and weren't just stories for girls. They were actually enjoyed by adults. They were bestsellers all over the world. And I suppose Canadians must have woken up to the fact that if people, that many millions of people were reading them, there must be something worth reading in them.
And in fact, she took Anne from... Anne didn't stay a child. Anne grew up in the course of the books.
Yes, it goes right through to Anne being about 49 and being the mother of sons who go off to the First World War. So it covers a very long time, 30 years.
Well, you've done very well with Anne of Green Gables, 16 points, so you have to beat 29 points. Let's see if you can do that. Here we go. The Arts and Culture Centre, opened in the Beaubourg suburb of Paris in 1977, is officially named after which president?
Pompidou.
Yes, an unkindness or a conspiracy is the collective noun for which members of the crow family?
Ravens.
Yes, a tangelo is a cross between a tangerine and which larger citrus fruit?
Grapefruit.
Yes, who became King of Scotland in 1040 after killing Duncan I in battle near Elgin?
Macbeth.
Yes, what is the Celsius equivalent of the temperature 273.15 degrees on the Kelvin scale?
100.
Naught. Of which Dickensian hero is the villainous Monk's the half-brother?
Oliver Twist.
Yes, the Galton-Henry system, officially introduced at Scotland Yard in 1901, is a method of classifying what?
Fingerprints.
Yes. Which former Prime Minister was buried at St Mary's in the Isles of Scilly in 1995?
Harold Wilson.
Yes. In which activity is the masseter muscle that connects the cheekbone and the jawbone particularly used?
Smiling.
Chewing. Which American outlaw has inscribed on his memorial stone the boy bandit king? He died as he had lived.
Jesse James.
Billy the Kid. The French landscape painter born Claude Gelée is often known by what name after his place of birth?
Monet.
Lorraine. What is the popular name for the crane fly?
Pass.
The battles of Blenheim, Ramillies, Oudenarde and Malplaquet were the principal engagements of which war?
The War, 7 Years' War.
The War of the Spanish Succession. Better known for his collaboration with another composer whose last major work as librettist was for Edward German's 1909 opera Fallen Fairies.
Vaughan Williams.
Gilbert. Which is the only even prime number?
2.
Yes. Released in May 2004, what's the name of the third Harry Potter film?
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yes. In his History of the Second World War, which battle was Churchill referring to when he wrote that before it we never had a victory and after it we never had a defeat?
Battle of Britain.
El Alamein. Born in Chorley, Lancashire in 1819, who, having bought the patent for making sugar in cube form, went on to build the Thames Sugar Refinery in 1878?
Tate.
Yes. Which Soviet cosmonaut, started to finish, became the first man to walk in space in 1965?
Gagarin.
Leonov. You had one pass. The popular name for the crane fly is the daddy longlegs. 26 points. So, that's the end of the contest. Let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place with 11 points is Anne Kelly. Third place with 20 points, Edward Towne. Second place with 26 points, Katherine Slater. First place with 29 points, Hadrian Jeffs. Which means that Hadrian Jeffs goes through to the next round. The heats are over now and the finals are about to begin. Do join us next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
From BBC Radio 4 to BBC 2, meet Count Arthur Strong, one half of a comedy double act in a new series tonight at 8:30. Next this afternoon, though, from apple trees to asparagus, it's the A to Z of TV gardening.